So we are going to run through the entire lineup of saws. I'm tweaking chains, checking sprockets and everything, but you're going to get to see every saw run on this video. We even got that expansion chamber wild thing. We got one here on alcohol. You know, this is going to be good. This is my race lineup this year. All of these are going. So yeah, check it out. All right, so this is going to be the video where we get to see every single saw in the lineup. This might take me a couple of days to create this video. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Basically, I'm going to be going through every saw, making the final chain tweaks and adjustments and everything. And it's going to be every single saw that I'm taking to SawFest except one. We're not going to be showing the Dolmar because the Dolmar is not going to last very long, and we want to kind of, you know, save every moment of that saw's life for the races, because she could potentially pop at the races. I doubt it will, but it could. She's starting to sound like a little hammer in there beating away at it. So we're just going to wait till the races to run that saw again. So up first here, we're going to start off with the clones. We're going to start off with our 3 clones. This is going to be the 660 clone, our 372 clone, and the G366. Which is an MS361 clone. So yeah, here we go. Let's start off with these 3 saws. Up first is the 660 clone. We have a 28-inch bar on it, which we don't need to run a 28. 24 is all we really need to run. It's a steel mount. You know, it's 28 is what I got, and that's what I'm going to run. It's 4 inches bigger. You know what I mean? No big deal. It's a out-of-the-box C83 chain with a touch off the rakers, 2 swipes on the file. So let's start off with this one, and then we'll get to the 372. Not all of these chains are going to be out-of-the-box C83. Some of them I have sharpened, and I'll explain this during the process. Alrighty. I'm happy with that. It's right on the edge of being a little, almost too hungry. You know, it's right on the edge. I'm happy with that. All right, so next up is my 372 clone built by Bellhopper. So if you'd been watching my chain sharpening series on like developing a faster chain, this is the saw that we're going to be running that setup on. It's a 50 gauge bar that was wore out, and I threw a 58 gauge chain in it and just ran it until it kind of broke into the bar. And I have been developing some faster angles for the chain, I guess you can say. Sometimes it got a little too aggressive, sometimes it didn't. But this is that chain that we're going to see how it does at the races on this saw. So let's see how she cuts. I really like that chain. You'd be surprised if you heard how aggressive I got the angles, and there's no chatter in it. She's pushing pretty close to the speed of like, well, it might actually be faster than C83 and into square territory. So I think I'm getting pretty close here with these chains. In fact, if I wasn't running factory C83, this is the way I'd be sharpening all my chains. That was very smooth. All right, up next is my G366. That's the MS361 clone. It is running on methanol. There's no nitro additive or anything like that. We're gonna run it like this, and it is a square hand filed chain. I had done some videos recently showing the square and some developments and some stuff that I was working on, and I think today we're at the final result. It was basically a combination of me going two too much on one area and not enough at another area, and you know what I mean. I was making some mistakes, but I think we're a lot closer now. Still not 100%, but you know, we're doing it by hand, and I'm still learning this square thing. I've been working with round chain for I've been grinding it for 3 years now, you know. So, you know, previously to that, it was all hand filed, and the grinder's been going for like 3 years now. So I've had 3 years of development for it. And square, I've only been at it for a couple of months. So, you know, let's see how we get here in the next couple of years, you know. But for now, this is what we got, and this is how we're gonna run it. So let's see how the alcohol saw runs. Alrighty? Smoky she is. But yeah, that's my square hand file. I think the saw could use a little more torque, but she's running pretty good. We got more development here. We got all the time in the world, you know. But there she is. I like it. All right, so up next is the 385. It is an out-of-the-box C83 chain that I made a raker adjustment to. So on the 660, I did like 2 swipes with the file, and I discovered that it was really close to what the Husqvarna's hardwood setting on the raker gauge would be. So I decided on this one, we'll use the raker gauge. So, alrighty. And as you hear me talking about adjustments to chains and stuff, remember, I'm making these as we go here. I'm just not putting it on the video. So I am sharpening a lot of chain, a lot of raker work, you know, in between each of these saws. So bear with me. Well, the rakers are a little deep on that one, but we'll go with it. You know, this saw has a lot of torque, so hopefully it can, you know, kind of compensate for it. She's a little hungry on it though, as you can tell, but maybe we can use that to our advantage. Sometimes it bites you in the butt though. So up next should be the Dolmar project, but it's not going to be up next just because of what we said about previously. It's so close to blowing up that we're going to basically hope we can make it through the races. But we're going to basically set that chain up pretty much the same as what you're seeing here. It's going to be an out-of-the-box C83, probably 2 strokes off the raker. That's pretty much it. So up next here was actually going to be our Poulan. This is our hot little Poulan. We're going to run it. It's a C83 chain. Back to the 2 strokes off the raker because I felt that using that raker gauge was just a little too much. So I went with just taking two swipes on the file and on this saw. So let's see how she does. Alrighty. This one won't work. C83, I'm outrunning the chain. Can you see it? So we're going to sharpen it up. I don't think we're going to be able to use C83 on this one. Same chain, but it's no longer the C83 grind. It is sharpened my way. With the rakers are set with the Husqvarna style raker gauge. That is a lot better. Starting to wonder if I'm making the right choice with this C83 chain with trying to run it at the races. I don't know. I might have to reconsider that. Alrighty, time for the Partner 5000 Plus. I just sharpened that chain, so it should be good to go. This should be pretty simple with a couple of cuts. Definitely smaller in size now. We're down to 325 chain. So let's see how she does. Cutting really well. That's basically my copy of Steel's 23RS chain, like the way it's sharpened. So I'm pretty happy there. I don't think I need to make any tweaks. All right, up next is my Husqvarna 50. It's got a 51 recoil, 51 cover, so it might actually be a 51. But this has the 028 Super Piston build. It's that style of a build. Josh put it together for me down at JK Saw Shop, and this chain is a safety chain, semi-chisel, and all sorts of stuff. This is what I'm planning on running at the disc stack competition. So if you're not familiar with disc stack, imagine your wood turned on end and you cut discs off of it, but you want to stack them up. So as you make a cut, you want your disc to stay. So you got to be careful with your chain on this. A lot of RPM. You use the tip of it and just rip it through the wood, you know. I might need to sharpen it. It's a factory sharpen, so we might need to do a little bit of attention with it, but let's give it a run anyway. Alrighty. Running good. The chain might need sharpened. It's just a little bit on the hungry side. I think I need to tame it down a little. She's pulling pretty good. So we might have to do a little more tweaks to that chain. But I like it as is. All right, so up next is the Partner P70. We built this a while ago. This was kind of a collaboration project between me and Briscoe. He did all the machine work and I did all the port work. But we actually sold this saw in order to pick up an 046. I got the 046 here. I just haven't showed you it yet. But that's going to be a future project. But yeah, we sold this so we could pick up an 046. We sold it to Joey. So this is technically his saw now. We just basically borrowing it for the races. This is a saw we're going to run in the vintage saw class up there. And yeah, we're good to go. I did have it set up for a 9-pin 325 kind of setup, and we had to change that back. The race is required to be on 3/8, so we took it to 3/8, and we're not running a C83 on this one. After these couple of saws we just seen there, I decided that I'll just sharpen up one of mine. So that's what I did. I just took a regular old chain off the wall, sharpened it up, threw it in this saw, and let's see how she does. Alrighty. Well, I'm happy with that. I think we're good to go. Just need to start tighten the chain a little bit, but I'm probably going to have to pull the bar and chain off anyway to transport. So yeah, I'm happy.
All right, so up next here is the Wild Thing, the Pull 'n Wild Thing. This is the only expansion chamber style project we got going on here. Basically identical setup as we did last year. We took, I think, 4th with it last year. So let's see how she does. There she is. You can definitely tell that's 3/8 LP, can't you? That's some tiny chain. I mean, you can only go, what, one size smaller? I wonder if we're allowed to run 325 on these. Because, man, I could make a 325 chain fly a lot more. I'll have to look. If we can run 325, I might convert this to 325. So, I'll have to check. I think we can. All right, so up next here is my Briscoe built 4910. This saw is going as a backup, or in case somebody else needs a backup, you know? It's running a out-of-the-box, what do you call it? An out-of-the-box steel RS chain. Straight out of the box. The chain's a little short, so I had to put a Husky bar on it, you know? But otherwise, yeah, that's what we're gonna run, or it's just gonna be there just in case it needs ran. So it's just a backup. So yeah, let's see how she does. I'm happy with that. You know, no, there's no issues there. You can push the snot out of this thing. She likes it. The harder you push, the more it likes it. I think a lot of people make mistakes with these and don't push hard enough. These saws really like it on the torquey side of the build. So if you build one of these 4910s, think about your torque, because these things really like it, you know, and just push it. Just force it through there, you know.
What doesn't like a little forcing?
All right, this is the last saw right here. This is the saw we took 8th, I think we took 8th place with this saw last year in this class. So this is the Steel 036 built by Charlie Briscoe. Finished at 8th place last year, and we're gonna take it this year as our backup for that class, you know? Worst case scenario, we can pick this saw up and run it. I wouldn't even hesitate running this in the next size bigger if needed, you know? So yeah, we're gonna give it a run. Probably one of the best running steel saws I've ever ran, you know? But she might need a little tuning here. It's been a while since we ran it, so bear with me if we need to do a little tuning. So here we go. This is not C83, this is my grind. Just, it's a 58 gauge bar. I had some 58 gauge chain hanging on the wall. I threw it on and just sharpened it up my way. And the more I go back and forth between the C83 and my chain, like today, just in what you saw here today, by going back and forth between my chain and the C83, I'm starting to second guess my decision on running C83 out of the box. I like my chain more, but which one's faster, you know? That's the one test I've ever done. Which one's faster, my grind or C83? So we might be doing that video here soon, so that I can actually make up my mind which way to go. So as of right now, I do like my chain more than C83. I figured out how to get the angles. It's a little more tedious than what you'd expect, but the angles you're seeing me run with my round chain here are, they're right in it. But we'll see how that goes in the future. But today, let's give this thing a There she be. I love that saw. I actually love it. It's one of my favorite saws that I have right here. The 036. She cooks. I think we're gonna have to put a clutch on it though. The clutch springs don't appear to be able to stop the chain from moving. There she is. The full lineup. I'm starting to second guess about that C83, which ones are on C83 right now? We got the 660, the 385, the Dalmar. I think those are the only ones. I thought we were going to be running more C83 than what we are, but right now it's just those three. And I'm thinking about going ahead and sharpening them up and put my grind on. What do you think? We might have to do a video to compare them, you know, compare my chain to the C83, but I can tell you in the wood, I prefer mine much more in the wood than the C83. Mine is way smoother. It cuts like butter, you know. There's really nothing, no issues whatsoever. But there we go, the full lineup. The Wild Thing, I think we're gonna have to tweak on that chain some more. She just ain't hungry enough. And the 4910, I might have to do something there with that chain. It could easily take a little hungrier chain, which we might take a couple off the rakers there. The 50, I double checked, that is a Husqvarna 50. It just got 51 plastic. That chain, we might do something. It's a little too hungry for the disc jack competition. So we might sharpen it up and take a little off of it just to smooth it out. But other than that, I think the Dalmar and the 385 and the 660, I think we should, I don't know. We're gonna find out if we should sharpen those up. I think we should figure it out for certain. But there they are, the full lineup. Pretty much there. One or two tweaks, but otherwise, we're ready to go. So we might have ended up with a longer video. I'm not certain, I didn't do the edit yet. But yeah, there they are. I'm pretty happy. They're all ready to go. The builds are done. Well, we're as done as we can get done. Still going to see if we can get this 372 done. That would be the one to replace the Dalmar. But, you know, if we don't get her done, the Dalmar will run. Or we might just run the 036 or something, you know. The 036 will do just fine. But yeah, there we go. The lineup ready to go. And hey, I hope you enjoyed this one. For me, it took half the day or more. It might have taken more. Oh, I forgot to mention, one saw is on an 8-pin sprocket. The rest of them stayed at 7-pin. I checked it. Only one of them went to 8-pin, and that's the 385. I'm finding it takes a whole lot of torque to make an 8-pin sprocket really worthwhile. You can typically just do better in your sharpening. You know what I mean? So yeah, the 385 is the only one on the 8-pin. Otherwise, they're all set up with 7-pins. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed this one. We'll catch you in the next one. Later.